This is Set Free from the Trap Ministry. I am over here talking about desires. Desires. Everybody in this world has desires. Rapping about your desires. Your desires. Rapping about your desires in hip hop. So, telling the whole world about your desires. Desires. Rapping about your desires in the hip hop music industry is very important. That's all they rap about is their desires. That's what they're selling to the public. That's what's being sold to the public. Your desires. And the public is buying right into it. The public is buying right into the rapper that's rapping about his desires. The desires. The desires of this world. First John 1:15. On not loving the world. Do not love the world or anything in it. Anyone loves the world, love the Father is not in them. Everything in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, from the world. The world and its desires pass away. The world's desires ain't no good. That's all they rap about. Is the desires of the world. That's empty. It may bring you a lot of money, but it's empty. Rap about the same stuff from decade to decade, same old stuff. And people that study eating it, people that study, they just study buying it. They just study purchasing. Poison in the pot. Poison in the pot. People study eating poison and try to justify poison. The Amplified Bible, Second Kings. People just eat anything today. They eat anything. They don't care. They'll eat anything. They'll eat anything. Any lyrics. They don't really care. You go to Second Kings about poison in the pot. Poison in the pot. Poison in the pot. That's what people listening to. Poison in the pot. I'm going to Second Kings. Second Kings. About poison in the pot. Here we go. Poison. Poison in the pot. This is Second Kings. I'm going to. Okay, let's see. Second Kings. Poison in the pot. Poison in the pot. Poison in the pot. I know it's in here. Here we go. Poison in the pot. And this is sharing about poison in the pot. And today in our world, people just eat anything. They don't want to go by what God says. They just believe anything the rappers say. You eat anything. You eat anything. You don't want to listen to Jesus. You just eat anything. Poison in the pot. Second Kings says Elijah returned to Galilee, and there was a famine in the region. While the company of prophets were meeting, there was a famine in the land. There was no food. With him, he said to his servant, a large pot of, put a large pot, he said with him, said to him, to his servant, put the pot, large pot on and cook some stew for these prophets. One of them went out into the field to gather herbs and wild vine. You know what a wild vine is? It's a wild cucumber that's full of poison. And he says a wild vine, and picked many of them as he gathered and could hold. When he returned, he cut them up and put them in a pot. Though no one knew what they no one knew what they were. The stew was poured out for the men to eat, but as they began to eat it, They cried out, "Man of God, there is death in the pot," and they could not eat it. Elijah said, "Get some flour and put into the pot and serve it to the men to eat," and then there was no more harm. So there was a famine in the land. They didn't have no food to eat, and then some of the men went out and picking up wild cucumbers, poison cucumbers, just putting it in the pot. They didn't know what they was eating, and that's what's going on today in the world. People just so in love with entertainment, so in love with hip hop that anything is being they eat anything. People eat anything today. In the music industry, in Hollywood, they eat anything. It's poison in the pot. People eat anything. They eat anything the rappers say because they so in love with entertainment. Rapping about your desires in hip hop is empty. It's poison in the pot. It's poison. Poison. No matter how much money you make, just like right here, they didn't know what they was eating. And people don't know what they eat today. People eat anything that the rappers say. You eat anything that this world say. Poison in the pot. Chasing after the world's desires are no good. The world tell you if you're rich and famous, you got it going on. That's empty. That's the world's desires. The world's desires never satisfy. Being a famous rapper, having billions of dollars, having a whole bunch of mansions and women and cars and clothes, on not loving the world. Do not love the world or anything in it. If anyone loves the world, for the love of the Father is not in them. Everything, he said, the love of the Father is not in them. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but the world and his desires are passing away. Whosoever does the will of God, that's what that's what this world is based off of. The lust of the eye, the pride of life, bragging about what you got. That's what hip hop is really about. That's what it's really about. And people are eating poison every single day. People are in love with poison. It's poison in the pot in hip hop. People are buying into anything because they want to be entertained. Entertainment is not important to me. And people continue to support poison because it's making money, because it's getting money. It's poison. It's poison. Rapping about your desires. All the stuff they rap about, even some of the old school artists from the 90s. It's poison in the pot in hip hop. It's poison. Rapping about your desires, the lust of the eye, the pride of life, boasting, bragging. That will have an influence on people. That does have an influence on the mindsets of people. Some people are so blind to God's truth, they can't see that. The lyrical content in hip hop does have an effect. It does. It does. So rapping about your desires, your ice, your chain, all of the desires that you're rapping about is poison in the pot. The lust of the eye, the pride of life, boasting, bragging about what you got. The world and its desires pass away. And that's what the public is in love with. The public is in love with poison. The public is in love with poison. It's poison what you listening to. Because if you take the desires, if you pull the desires out, all the stuff that they rapping about, nobody gonna buy it. The desires of the world, rapping about your desires in the hip hop music industry, very empty. And it's God said the world's desires are passing away. The lust of the eye, the pride of life, boast and brag about how much money you got. All that's empty. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. The world and its desires pass away. Whosoever does the will of God lives forever. See, the world's desires are no good. The desire to be rich and famous, to be popular, to have everybody, follow you, have a big house, 15 cars, being a famous rap star, it's all empty. The world's desires never satisfy. They pass this way, it's empty. The lust of the eye, the pride of life. And people continue to buy stuff like this because the devil is blinding people's mind from God's truth. If the gospel is veiled, it's veiled from those that are perishing. He's blinding their mind from the truth of God, even through video games. The devil is blinding people's mind through the video games, through violent video games. He's blinding their mind. And I'm praying that God's goodness and kindness and love will lead to repentance. They will let God change their thinking. Bye bye.